p.m. and I have to keep on a tight schedule, or, someone who's probably watching, maybe not watching right now, I might be in trouble with. So we don't want any of that. So let's keep on a schedule tonight. And for those of you who know me, know I love to talk, but I'm going to really try my hardest to stay focused tonight. Okay, so with that being said, thanks guys for being on the call tonight. I know Jen had asked me if I would do the call last week as they took little Mikey to Disney, which is so amazing for them to be able to do that. A couple of shout outs for those of you who think that this could have never have happened to them, and to be able to do things like that. I want to inspire all of you tonight, teach you, give you some tips where I've come in my journey for 15 months as a coach, but also to be able to look at Jen and Michael and see where their hard work has paid off, to be able to have the freedom to take trips like this. They were just in Puerto Rico. They're going to be going to Cancun. I will be going to Cancun, free trip. Thank you, Success Club 10. So really, I want you all to know that that is something that can happen for each and every one of you. So keep that in mind as we go through the call tonight. And already I'm off track. So let's get started with congrats to the new coach, the following coaches who have added 2 or more new coaches to their network in the last week. Emily Burns, 3, Jenny, 3, and unless that's 4, if she just signed someone up 2 minutes ago, not really sure. Estefania Wilcox, 2, Erica Martin, 2, Molly Franklin, 2, Stella Hastings, 2. Good job, coaches. We are at March 16th. We're halfway through the month. There's still a lot of time left. Let's keep this wheel turning and spinning, keep the momentum going. There's, April coming up, and it's springtime. So there's a lot out there for us to hit as far as our goals. So on to the next slide. Success Club 10, Emily Burns, who has been majorly hot. Not only is she hot, but she's ripping her up. And Jenny Beauregard, woo-woo. Oh, she is on the call. All right. See, I'm already getting distracted. Success Club 5, Erica Martin, Caitlin Morris, Nicole Murray, Estefania Wilcox, Chelsea Nichols, Tanya Gris, Steph Berkey, Molly Franklin, Jennifer Fonseca, Nichol Cabe, Carrie Wood, Donna Dehoff, Jenna DeStefano, Brett Peoples, Diana Philo, Caitlin Bear, Stella Hastings. That print is really hard to read, Jen, so I did my best. So congrats, guys. Again, it's still early in the month. Keep in mind with the new lead program coming up April 1st, this is just a great pre-warm-up for hitting that Success Club 5 and Success Club 10 for the rest of the year. So awesome job. Oh, shout out to my new coach, Jenna, who's on the call. Woo-hoo. Okay, I'm not going to look down there anymore. Fit Family Network PB Rock Stars, 500 plus Cub. Tanya Gris, Steph Burke, Jesse Carter. Wow, awesome job, guys. 300 plus Michelle Harris, Diane Philo, Nina, Erica, Chelsea, Casey. No, it's Cassie. Casey? Not sure. Diane, Michelle, Ashley, Patty, Jessica, Devin, Jenna, and Allison. And next we will talk about, let's get to the call now that we got that out of the way. So tonight is going to be a mixture of things. Again, what I was talking about in the warm-up is I want you coaches to leave this call feeling inspired, motivated. I know we have new coaches on the call. We have seasoned coaches on the call. No matter where you are at in your business, I want you to get invigorated, motivated, and excited from this point forward. So this is my job tonight, is to inspire all of you. And really, I never thought a year ago that I had the ability to inspire people. And now I'm a great example of how that can happen for you as long as you believe in yourself. And I just want to share that with all of you. So keep it up, inspire every day, and motivate every day. This slide is a tad bit small. I hope you can see that. I'm not sure if you can. So my journey, oh, that's a bummer. Okay, so I did not really preview that well. Anyway, so my journey, for those of you, most of you know my story and my journey. I'm not going to go into it full on tonight because most of you already know it. I will just touch base a little bit about it. My journey started from a running injury that I had sustained in 2013 while I was training for my first full marathon. I was not able to compete in the marathon, which then in turn led me to some very led me back into a depression and so forth. I came across a free Eat Clean challenge group on Facebook led by my upline coach, Cher, who, again, I had no idea who she was. I had just come across this on Facebook and decided that I needed to make some changes because I was going down a dark hole. And I jumped into that group. And this is why it's so important, coaches, and for you new coaches. We talk about free, clean, whether it's Eat Clean challenge groups, ab workout, water challenge groups, whatever it is, how important it is to add that value for people. I myself have had quite good luck with my coaches that I have gotten from free challenge groups. I myself came from a free challenge group. A lot of the successful coaches, and you've heard Michael talk about this a lot, have come from the free challenge groups. So it really, really is so important that you try and, have your upline, your sponsor coach help you out for your new coaches who need help with your first group. But the importance of those free challenge groups are really, really important. And what I try to do is run one every month. I believe that most coaches do try to do that. So keep that in mind. And you can do something as having it standard the second week of every month. You already know that you're going to run that free challenge group. So very important on those challenge groups. Okay, so since I can't read it, I'm just going to go with, and I worked really hard on that too. I'm so mad. Okay, so from there, I ended up purchasing a program, signed up to be a discount coach so I could get the Shakeology. And 3 months into coaching, well, I was sort of a discount coach for a while. And when I realized that it could actually become more and that it isn't a pyramid scheme as a lot of people had said to me, and I'm sure for you new coaches hear that a lot, even seasoned coaches hear that still. But it was when I started believing in myself, believing that this could happen for me, I set some goals. And most of you know that I was able to leave my full-time job after 8 months of coaching. Now, that was my story, and my why was because I wanted to be able to pursue this full time and be able to be around for my girls who were 13 and 11 at the time. And when I realized that that was possible, that I could financially be able to leave my job and do something that I absolutely love doing, found my passion, could do that 24 hours a day, it was really a matter of making a plan and making it happen. So that is my story of how I started, how I became a coach. That I set goals, which I instruct, all of my coaches to do, is setting those small goals to equal the larger goals. And in the end, finding out how to get to those large goals, just like we explain to our challengers with their weight loss or their journeys. It's all about taking it a day at a time, a week at a time, and the bigger picture in the end will come full circle. So that is how I started with my coaching. Where I am now is interesting. So I've been coaching for 15 months now, and again, I talk about how those of you who know how much my life has changed in so many ways. And not only my life, but my family's life as well. And I have been home since September, and being age 44, working outside the home your whole life, it's different. It's different to be at home, and I was so used to interacting with the public that was a change for me. Trying to find balance took me a little while to get used to. Those of you who have left your jobs to do this full time know what I'm talking about, when it takes you a couple of months to get into your routine and following a schedule. But the schedule is so important, and it took me a little while, but I adjusted, I think, pretty well. I'm a very planned, organized type of girl, so the whole schedule thing wasn't too difficult for me. It was the fact that following it, as I would get sidetracked kind of a little bit. So that my struggle. So I wanted to talk about some of the things that I've struggled with personally. Since being home, my fitness goals have not been on point at all. And I share this with you because I know how important, I know how difficult it is for us coaches to put ourselves out there. We do it all the time. And we are real. We are everyday people that struggle just like other people do. And I've not been quiet about my 15-pound weight gain since I've been home. But I feel it's important to make, posts about that kind of stuff, because those are real struggles. And people connect with you when you are honest. And that's what is so important as us as coaches, is what we put out there, that it comes with honesty and heart. And so I have not been quiet about my struggle with that. And I'm learning to balance that more. Another thing I struggle with is learning to say no, because now I am, quote, a stay-at-home mom, and people don't really think that I work. And so I I'm constantly being called upon to volunteer for this through school, volunteer, do this, can you, even from not necessarily the children's schools, because one is in middle school, one is in high school, but other instances, and family, can you run so-and-so here, can you, and it really, I'm a people pleaser, so it's difficult for me to say no and use boundaries, and when I try to stay on track with my scheduled hours of work hours, and I don't do well when something is thrown in there and then it throws off my schedule. I personally am not, I don't respond well with that. But I'm learning, that's one of my struggles, is that I cannot be there for everybody all the time because my business has to take priority sometimes. And so that is one thing that I'm learning. The other thing I want to talk about, especially for new coaches, ups and downs of coaching. So 15 months I've been a coach, and yes, several things that stick out in my mind are Michael Greenberg and Scotty Hobbs both telling me a couple of times that this is an MLM. It is going to have ups and downs. There is no steady path. It is constantly up and down. And when I started, I was constantly on the up, which probably newer coaches are, and you're constantly going up, up, up. And when you hit that down, it brings in a lot of insecurity, self-doubt, your confidence breaks a little, and you may be second-guessing, that sort of thing. This is where personal development plays a huge part, because when you are starting to feel that those feelings, diving into that personal development is really going to be key for you, because, and you will read this, that people say that is why MLMers, personal development, is so important, because it's an up and down business. It's not an everyday job where you do the same thing every day and you get the same amount of money, you work the same hours. That's not how MLMs are run. So I really want you to know that I have struggled. I always think that successful coaches, we have this false image of successful coaches not struggling. And I've heard several speak about this, and it only reassures me when I struggle that I am norm. It's the norm. And no matter if you're a new coach, a 15-month-old coach, a coach that you've been for 4 years, we all go through it. And what's important is how you come out on the other side. One great book that I will give a plug to is John C. Maxwell's Sometimes You Win, Sometimes You Learn. And it's a great book, and that helped me. So I just wanted to touch base on that. My successes, obviously, my team made Premier Team 2014, so truly blessed and honored to be in that percent of 0.5% out of the company. I worked hard, my team worked hard. I can't even express what that was like to accomplish, because that was one of my goals when I started coaching and realized that this could be my business. One of my deal breakers were Success Club 10 every month. I wanted to be an All-Star Success Club 10. I wanted to be able to attend the leadership retreat, which was a two-star coach, and I wanted to be a premier coach by the end of the year. So I worked for those goals, and no matter what your goals are, and I talk about that a lot, no matter what your goals are, whether they're big or small, everybody has their own goals. Neither one is right, neither one is wrong, but just allowing yourself the ability to accept and keep open and pursue those goals. So with the premier status, I will get to go have dinner with the elite group and the trainers and Carl Deichler and that sort of thing in Cancun next month, which is really, really exciting. And, those little perks are just extra added bonuses. Okay, so I attended the leadership retreat, which I talked about, and Winter Summit. Attending these events is just so, I'm big on personal development, and I'm big on events and attending them because you receive so much out of it. The Cancun trip I have paid for and earned with Success Club 10. Remember, you get the cash, so that went towards flights. So Nashville Summit coming up, excited for that. The other thing I want to talk about is the success with coaching. You can lead to different platforms, and what I mean by that specifically is this week I am opening up a free Change for Life running club, and that's something I wouldn't be able to do if I was working my day job. So this, the sky is the limit, the world is your oyster, or whatever the saying is. Point is it gives you a platform to pursue other things. And I love that. I love that opportunity. Running was one of my first loves when I started getting healthier 3 years ago. And now, because of where I'm at with coaching, I can dabble and help others. It's just another form of helping others that want to start running, and inspire them and motivate them along the lines of a healthier lifestyle. So I think that's a perk that nobody really talks about when, at this stage of where I'm at with coaching. And so I have many other things I have ideas for that I would like to do. And again, being a Beachbody coach and having where I'm at, it has led me to be able to do that. And of course, the number one success in my 15 months is just all around being a much happier, fulfilled wife, mom, daughter, friend. And those of you who know me know that I talk about this. You've heard my story. I did host the team call 1 month after I left my job, and I was home for a month. And for those of you who don't know this, the one thing my daughter said, I was home a week. I was home for a week, and we were getting ready for school in the morning. And for those of you who can that can relate, you're trying to get yourself ready for work. Fortunately, my kids are old enough where they can feed themselves. So, but, they're asking, Mom, what about this? And I got this after school, and you're trying to get out the door for work and get them to get on the bus, and it's just hectic and it's stressful. And you do these things and you get by because that's what you do. So my first week, it took a long time for me to realize that, wow, that's not me anymore. And I stayed in my pajamas and I drove the kids to school in my PJs for like a month. Why? Because I could. And I say that because my daughter said to me, Mom, you know what's really weird? And I said, what? And she said, this is my 11-year-old at the time, and she said, you're not running around like a chicken with your head cut off. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, you are always so busy in the mornings, and you're making your shakes, and you're out the door. And she said, and we're always late, and it's not like that anymore. And it took her to say that, to realize 1 week in that, wow, it isn't like that anymore. Why? Because I don't have those stressors, that pressure, and so forth. And so, anyway, my life has led me to do things that I had only imagined and not thought possible. So enough about that. On to Nichole's top 10. So this is something that I made up, guys, and this is where I'm going to touch base, and these are some things I thought of that I wanted to talk about tonight. Hang on. I love these new bottles, by the way. Okay, so Nichole's top 10. Again, these aren't in any sort of order. They're all of importance to me. And I'm going to touch base on each one. First of all, let's go through them. Consistency, events, plugged in, power hour, personal development, leads and follow-up. Give yourself a year. Learn what works for you. Start a fit club. Get out of your box. Okay? So let's go and start with consistency. Success is neither magical nor mysterious. Success is the natural consequence of constantly applying basic fundamentals. Jim Rohn. I mean, come on, guys. If none of you have purchased any materials from him, I highly recommend doing so. And I'm going to talk about consistency very quickly. I did a call on Jenny's team the other night, and we talked about consistency. And I am a huge, big believer, pusher in consistency. Ask any top coaches, any successful coaches, consistency is key. And when I say consistency, I mean consistency with everything. It's not a little bit here, it's not a little bit there. It's about being consistent, and this is my big thing, is social media, coaches. I can't tell you how important keeping up, and whether you have one outlet or several outlets of social media, but just being consistent with that. I've posted in Fit for Life once the message that I had gotten a couple months ago from a girl. I woke up in the morning and there was a message on my phone saying, "Hi, Nichole, I know you don't know me. You're a friend of so-and-so's, and I see your motivational posts every day, and I just want to touch base with you and see if you can help me with my fitness goals," so forth. Why did she reach out to me? Because I've been consistent every single day with something inspiring, motivational on my journey, my business, what I do. Now, again, finding your social media that works for you and being consistent with it. I have been on Instagram for, 10 months now. Have I gotten any leads from my Instagram? No. Is my Instagram huge? No. But you know what? I track it, and I have a social media calendar, and each month I track my social medias. And I am so sorry, I was going to make a slide of this, but there should be a file in the team page of social media tracking. If not, I will download it in there. But it lists all of your social media, and you can add to it. I add all of my Beachbody business, my customers, my coaches, my downline coaches, my PS coaches, so forth kind of thing, and tracking that every single month so you can see the growth of yourself. Again, Have I gotten any leads or new customers from Instagram? No, but I'm being consistent with it, and it keeps growing and keeps growing, and it will eventually turn around and pay me back, with a lead someday. But I'm going to stay consistent with it because that's what you need to do. So consistency is just so important, and with all of your power hour, which I'm going to talk about too. So consistency, guys, very important. Events. I want to talk about the importance of events. Again, when I was coaching and wanted to attend leadership, why did I want to attend leadership? Because the leaders were going to be there. And I wanted to learn all that I could from that. If I was given an opportunity, that I needed to take advantage of that. So that was one of the things that I needed to do. When I attended Summit, I was a coach of 3 months. Now, I signed up at the very last minute for Summit because I made every excuse not to attend, right down from my job to no money, to taking the time off work, to how I'm going to have to leave my husband with the kids for that, blah, 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 blah. I did it. I charged it on my charge card. I requested the time off of work and put my husband in charge, who did very well, of course. But events are not only so inspiring and motivating for you, but just the learning, the amount that you can learn is huge. You don't get that from listening to a webinar. You don't get that interaction of people's stories, of meeting them, going up to them and saying, hey, Katie Ursta, she's the top and elite coach now who had breast cancer. I went up to her at leadership and introduced myself to her and told her what an inspiration she is, how amazing she is, and God bless her. And it's things like that that you don't get to do when you're not at events. So winter retreat, plug my goal, winter retreat. Guys, if you're not going to Summit in Nashville, please get into the winter retreat. Again, it's events where you can learn from others and being around the like-minded people. There are many testimonials from many of us that attended winter retreat, and it gives you things that you won't be able to get elsewhere. And just that connection. So, these events are just so important. Super Saturday, hosting Super Saturdays, getting to Super Saturdays. They're every few months. So important to try and attend one. If you can't attend one, have one of your own. Super easy. I don't care if you have one other person. Create your own Super Saturday event. Start it. When we started in Ashland, I think Cher had her first one, and there were 4 coaches there, maybe, but 3 coaches. It will grow and grow. As you grow, they will grow. So have your own if you don't want to attend one. And Cancun, I mean, come on, really? Do I need to say anything more on that? I don't think so. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about, plugged in. Coaches, you need to be plugged in. And this is the National Wake Up Call every Monday. Now, if you work, it's always on replay. You have to listen to the replay. There's no reason why you can't get in a half hour of that replay in your week, in a week, in a week's time. I remember being a new coach and listening to Jeff Hill say, these National Wake Up Calls are gems. They are gems for coaches to learn from top coaches. It's free advice. It's their tips. It's what works for them. So why would you not spend 30 minutes of your time learning from these coaches? I mean, so National Wake Up Call is a must. Your team call, it's a 45-minute time once a week. Important to show your team that you're plugged in, which in turn can show they can lead their team to be plugged in. The surge is crazy. We all know that who have been able to be on it. Other webinars and calls, other webinars that Michael and Jen post in our page from Scotty Hobbs's team or so forth. But making the time, and here's a little tip. If you, which I know many of you busy working moms, so forth, no offense, men, if you're cleaning the house, doing the dishes, put those calls on. And at least if you don't have paper and pen with you to take notes, at least you're hearing it and something may click. So while you're sweeping, while you're doing this, while you're in the car running errands, that there's the National Wake Up Call is on replay. So plugged in, coaches, very important. The next thing, Power Hour. So I thought that was a really cute slide. Power Hour, huge. One coach and one guest. That was Super Saturday in Ashland. And now I think, Cher, did we have, was there 20 some, I forget. But again, it's growing. And that's what matters. So Power Hour, guys, super, super important. I have my Power Hour. Everybody should have their own. I talked about this. My team is aware of it. I do not use the BAT, nor does my team. We use the Beachbody weekly checklist. So bad. Sorry if you can see that. If any of you want it, I know I've talked about it before and I've given it out before. Use your Power Hour, and you need to stick to your Power Hour, turn off your notifications, go through each of those and check them off. This is all about consistency again, coaches. When you're consistent with your Power Hour, your business will show. And if you're not, your business will show. So I can't stress enough the importance of your Power Hour. Maybe it doesn't take you an hour to do it. Maybe you are over your Power Hour because you're struggling with being preoccupied with so forth. Finding that time that works for you. When I was working my day job, I did half hour in the morning and I did a half hour at nighttime. Break it up. Work during your lunch hour, during your day. If you can get 20 minutes of your Power Hour, breaking it up to what works for you is important. But the importance of the Power Hour is a deal breaker. That's one of those things with the 3 vital behaviors are deal breakers for coaches, and anyone will tell you that. The next thing I want to talk about is personal development. Again, this is huge for me personally. My story was never a transformation story with Beachbody, and everybody has their own stories, and that's what's so great about this is everybody has their own, whether it's a physical transformation, a spiritually, emotionally. That was what mine was. That completely changed my life. But personal development, guys, is a must. I can tell you from so many coaches that I've met and spoke with that how much it has helped and saved them in ways. So you have to get your personal development in. And 10 minutes is not, I can't, I would like to argue with someone who told me that they don't have 10 minutes in the day to read. if you're that busy, 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes at night. But really, you won't believe how that can change you and make you gives you more confidence. Your self-esteem motivates you, inspires you. We have a list in the Fit for Life Fit Fam page of the books, but it's huge. I spend a half hour in the morning and a half hour at night. And I like to do that because the first thing I want to do when I wake up in the morning is I want to be inspired and I want to get my juices flowing. So I sit with my cup of coffee, and that's what I will do while the kids are getting ready for school. And then before I go to bed, that is when I like to leave my night and end it on something like that, powerful. So usually that will be more the motivational, inspiring, and my morning development maybe something more leadership based. So definitely that is huge, coaches. The next thing is leads. So I love to talk about leads because I've always thought leads were so important. And I did this call I talked about this on Jenny's team the other night. So this is how I work. This is how I handle my leads. I started tracking my leads, and I'm old school, so I have pen and paper, I have the date, I have the name, and then this is how I go about with my leads. Day one will be a text, the next day may be an email, and then a day or two after that, I do a call. And whether I leave a message or I don't get through, the last important thing I do is a postcard. And it can be even just blank note cards, guys. You don't have to go out and get your team name, anything fancy. Just a blank postcard with flowers on it or something like that, and a handwritten saying, "Hey John, this is Nicole, your free teen Beachbody coach. Just wanted to check in with you and see if you received my message. I just want to touch base with you. Here's my number if you need anything, or you can reach me on Facebook at blah, blah, blah." So that's the last thing I do, which is a postcard. I did post a video in FitFam that one day, which I thought was important, which was an example of how I follow up with my leads. And it was a gentleman that I had seen previous purchases of Shakeology, and they were sporadic, and I emailed and texted, never heard from him. So I finally decided to call him. Long story short, we were on the phone for 35 minutes. He signed up as a coach that night with a challenge pack, and so he could continue with discounted Shakeology. In the meantime, and that was a couple of weeks ago, he messaged me the other day about possibly coaching. So this is why I say it's so important to do all that you can to reach out to your leads. Now, had I just given up after I had not heard from a text or the email, then where would we be at? But instead, I thought, you know what, I'm going to call him. And when I've had people ask me, after I posted that video, I had a couple of people message me about the whole call thing. And what I say to that is practice, practice, practice. And I say that because just like telling your story, the more you become comfortable with telling your story, the more it shows. The more you become comfortable with reaching out to your leads, it shows. For instance, this is what I may do with a call for a lead. Let's say his name is John, and he purchased P90X3. So phone rings, and he says hello. And I say, "Hey John, this is Nichol Cabe, your Beachbody coach. How are you tonight?" And he'll say, usually they're like, fine. And then I will say, I just wanted to reach out to you and let you know that I'm here for whatever you need. I did text you and email you, but I'm not sure if you received that or not. And I see that you had purchased P90X3, and I just wanted to see how you are doing with your program. Just starting that conversation will get the ball rolling, and it will continue from there. Now, it can go either way. It can be, I returned it, I'm not happy with it, which has happened to me, and I say, I'm sorry to hear that. If there's anything I can do in the future, please give me a call. Simple as that. Otherwise, I just had 2 leads actually start my challenge group that purchased 21-Day Fix through Team Beachbody. Now they're in my challenge groups. One lady is signing as a discount coach to get Shakeology. So I cannot stress the importance of doing all that you can to reach out to those leads. And especially now with the new lead program coming up, all the more important for you to do that. So tracking your leads, being consistent with your leads. Every day when you check your office, you should be checking your leads to see if you have new customers and following through on that day. So that is my story on leads. The next one is give yourself time for coaching. Just like this, I came across this image today when I was thinking about this, and again, it is an MLM. It is not instantaneous money maker. If you think that's it, then you have another thing coming, because that's not what it's about. So it takes time to build. And I can say that because I'm 15 months out now, and I am seeing that result. So I encourage, and Michael will talk about this, and other coaches will say, give it a year. Give it a year of trying to make the business be what you want it to be. And if it's not working after a year, then you know that you gave it a shot. But if you're looking at, I want such and such at this such and such time, and you don't get there, you need to really go back and think about, were you putting in the work to get to those results? Were you putting in the time? Again, what you want out of the business is important as what your realistic time of putting in the business and doing the work. So someone who gives up after 3 or 4 months is really, just as we talk about our fitness, our own personal health goals, and our challengers, those who only get a 3-pound weight loss, what do they give up? So it's the same thing with coaching, is it takes time. You need to build and grow and be consistent, and I guarantee you it will pay off in the long run. The last thing I want to talk about is keeping an open mind. And when I say that, I mean what I want you to learn from other coaches and take that in, but put it into make it your own. And there's so many different, for new coaches, this person does it this way, this one does it that way. Finding what works for you is really key. And again, there's no right or wrong. It's what works for you. But keeping an open mind and trying things is what I want to stress, because we're so straight and narrow, and when you don't allow yourself to keep an open mind, you're not growing. So I really encourage you to try different things, making videos. You know, we have some coaches who, I was one of them, refused to do a video. It was so difficult. And now obviously, as I'm hosting this webinar, I'm so much more comfortable doing it. So keeping an open mind and trying those things is really key also. Start your own fit club. I want to talk about that because that is really important for coaches also. For instance, I started Fit Club back in May of last year, and I think I had 4 coaches, discount coaches come. It has grown more now, and I couldn't be more excited about it. So I think last time we had like 18 or 20 members come, and as it continues to grow, I've just signed 2 coaches from last Fit Club that are now coaching. So as it's taken me time to build it, but it in turn comes around, and that's with being consistent. Whether there's 1 person showing up or 30 people showing up, the fact is you need to be consistent and stay with it. And starting it in your garage or starting it in your basement, wherever the facility is, but really learning more about how to run a fit club and do a fit club, I can't express that it's not only fun, but it's also marketing, you know, inviting people, and you can do so many different things with it. So that is of importance also. I talked about keeping an open mind. The other thing is stepping out of your box, out of your comfort zone. We all struggle with this. I know that. And again, making little changes equal big changes. So really finding that, building that confidence, that self-esteem will allow you to venture out more, out of that box, and try new things, try new different things. Failing forward, people, that's what it's about. But unless you step out of that box and try it, you will never know. And my call to action tonight is going to be about leads. So I would like for you to create a system and track them for 30 days. Again, I just have pen and paper with the date, name, and then I have a column for emailed, text, phone, and postcard, and I will write in what I had done. So I urge you to create a system for your leads and follow through with it. And I was so excited when Jenny told me, I think it was today or yesterday, that since her team call that I had done with her last week and her team, and about the leads, she has had great success with that. And so it's so important to follow through with that. And so that is what my call to action is going to be, is about leads. And good luck with that. And thank you guys so much. It's kind of late. Sorry I went over, of course. And I hope you learned a lot. And again, if there's any questions about tonight or anything, just send me a message or post in the FitFam page. And have a wonderful evening. Thank you for being on the call. God bless. Pay it forward and be you. Have a great night, guys.